I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
It started now.
All right, you're live.
Hi friends and welcome to Career Kul, the educational Gurukul. So हम एक छोटी सी फर्म है which tries to tell you कि कितने तरह के careers दुनिया में हैं, किस किस तरह की जॉब प्रोफाइल एग्जिस्ट करती है और उन जॉब प्रोफाइल्स में पहुंचने के लिए या उन करियर्स को लेने के लिए आपकी पर्सनालिटी कैसी होनी चाहिए. So we do a aptitude test, a personality test, and an interest test. And on the basis of that, we try to tell you, okay, these are the careers, these are the job profiles, jisme maybe you're perfect naturally, and these are some skills which you can gather with them. Or if not, if you're choosing something else which is not really matching, then we will have to tell you कि behavioral level पर आपको क्या क्या चीजें change करनी पड़ेंगी, because sometimes people choose it just for the money and sort of frustrations creep up and sort of they have at 40 they have sort of a midlife crisis. It's okay if that's the way it is, but now that we know that there is a phenomena that 40 पे ऐसा होता है, so we should start planning beforehand and try to understand ourselves. And in continuation of this, we try to invite a lot of industry experts from different fields, from very big companies, and how they have managed to reach there. Sometimes they do not know how valuable their journey has been, because definitely from them, their journey, we can learn something. Even if we can learn the confidence that we lack sometimes from them, it would be really helpful. So let me welcome Miss Asmita. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. And ma'am has done from BCom honors from
Great.
SRCC. Now that's the top college for commerce. She has pursued an MBA from IIM Lucknow. So IIM Lucknow again after ABC, it's like one of the top IIMs. And then she worked for the last 5 years, nearly 5 years. She has been working in the very huge consulting firms. तो हम मैम से आज ये समझेंगे कि कंसल्टिंग, क्योंकि आज तक हम कोर जॉब्स देखते आए हैं, आईटी जॉब्स देखते आए हैं. अब भी हम लोगों ने थोड़ी सी कंसल्टिंग की बात बीच में की थी कि बिट्स इज द प्लेस जहाँ पे कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स आती हैं. नाउ विल टॉक टू मैम, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कंसल्टिंग फर्म एक्चुअली है क्या. देन शी हैज वर्कड इनटू द डिजिटल स्पेस जो आजकल बहुत तेजी से बढ़ रहा है कि ऑनलाइन अपनी सर्विसेज लेके जाइए. वी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड जब आप ऑनलाइन लेके जाते हैं, इज इट फीजिबल इन इंडिया, आर पीपल रेडी फॉर इट. वी विल आल्सो टॉक अबाउट ऑपरेशंस, कैसे काम होता है और आप कैसे उसको छोटा कर सकते हैं, टाइम सेव कर सकते हैं एंड इंक्रीज योर प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी. ये भी हम समझेंगे जो मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर्स हैं हमारे साथ फिफ्थ सेमेस्टर में और सिक्स सेवन सेमेस्टर में उनको एक सब्जेक्ट होता है इंडस्ट्रियल इंजीनियरिंग. सो इट इज सॉर्ट ऑफ लुक्स इनटू द ऑपरेशनल एफिशिएंसी. बीबीए बीकॉम के में फिफ्थ में बिजनेस ऑपरेशन और ऑपरेशन रिसर्च रिस्पेक्टिवली होता है. एंड दीज आर सब्जेक्ट विच वी ऑलवेज थॉट कि यार ये इंडिया में तो अप्लाई हो ही नहीं सकता, बट कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स में ये सब अप्लाई हो रहा है. तो मैम से एक रियल टाइम सिचुएशन का एनालिसिस लेंगे so that you can look into, because the future is in operations right now. Even companies which have maybe 2-3 crores revenue in Lucknow, where they're not very big companies, they're okay companies, traditional companies, and वो आजकल कर रही है कि हम operations अपना सही करना चाहते हैं, but the problem that they face is their workers are not really ready to adapt to it. तो हम मैम से वो जानकारी भी लेंगे. So, ma'am, so I've briefed our viewers as to what will this discussion look like.
Mhm.
So, a very warm welcome from Kriti and myself and from the whole team.
Thanks a
And
lot. Thank you for joining.
yeah, and let me ask you कि आपने इतने बड़े कॉलेज से, SRCC से आपने पढ़ाई करी है and you have done so well. तो आपने SRCC के बाद why did you not choose MA Economics or MCom? Why MBA?
Um, I'll try to answer this question in two parts. There are people who are very clear on their area of interest. They have an absolute clarity. If they want to do a statistics or in economics, they want to get into digital or mathematics or any other stream possible, they generally tend to go for masters in that particular streams. However, there are people who do not have that clarity and want to further evaluate it. And realistically speaking, if you see in an ambitious way, most of the job descriptions in any leadership or a managerial role in any corporate setup have a prerequisition of an MBA. सारे job description में minimum qualification is an MBA. And you can start your career from anywhere. At the end of the day, you will be promoted to a managerial position from which you'll progress to various positions in the leadership. So it has kind of become a mandatory qualification, if you want to say. Also, I think it went with my ambition. I saw myself in a leadership role in a corporate, but I did not have an idea on functional area of expertise or an industrial area of expertise in mind after I completed my undergrad.
Let me just clarify this very important statement of yours to our students. मैम ने ये कहा कि एम्बिशन आपको पता है यार मुझे बहुत करना है, ये बहुत लोगों के अंदर होता है कि नहीं यार आई वांट टू डू इट, बट वी आर नॉट प्रीटी श्योर कि मैम ने जैसे कहा कि इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया क्या होगा, क्या मैं आईटी में जाना चाहता हूँ, क्या मैं मार्केटिंग में जाना चाहता हूँ, या फंक्शनल एरिया में एचआर में जाना चाहता हूँ. वी आर नॉट श्योर कि क्या करें, कौन सा अच्छा है. यहाँ पे कंसल्टिंग फर्म्स बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करती है बिकॉज दे गिव यू अ डाइवर्सिटी, डिफरेंट सॉर्ट ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स which you can work on and be good in different levels. तो जो लोग ऐसे हैं जो इंट्यूटिव हैं, कई बार जो इंट्यूटिव आदमी होता है, जो क्रिएटिव आदमी होता है, उसको लगता है कि नहीं यार मैं बोर हो जाऊंगा एक तरह के जॉब में. अगर ये दो थॉट्स आपके साथ चल रहे हैं, then what ma'am said is very important. Then the safest part is to go into an MBA. Now, have I paraphrased it okay?
I think so. Most of it, I mean, you've tried to capture very well the psychology behind it, definitely. There is a lot of similarity between what an MBA has to offer and what consulting has to offer. Both of them help you have a holistic idea or overall understanding of different functions of an organization: HR, finance, IT, managerial aspects. If you'd see most of the CEOs today, they throughout their lives they have worked across industry and across function. You pick up life story of any CEO, you would see they have worked in multiple functions: sales, marketing, legal in a lot of cases I've seen. And what they look for in a managerial or a leadership role is problem solving skills, right? Team working, collaboration. It comes with a lot of rigor also and commitment that is reflected in both an MBA, also in a consulting setup if you choose that as a career. But in the MBA institutes, their curriculum is it reflects their academic rigor and the process. It reflects the requirement that is coming from corporate, because they have to prepare leaders for the corporates who will hire them from there. So that is, I think, a very important part. Another important aspect of doing an MBA, which is, I mean, you will need to maybe read it between the lines in a lot of cases, is a network of future colleagues and bosses that you will develop. In most big organizations, the people in leadership are coming from those B schools. You will have them as your alumni, colleagues, and batchmates. And that opens up a lot of areas of opportunities for you also. So if you're a person who's correct, so if you're a person who's very ambitious, but you do not have a very clear picture on what thing you are best at right now and in what way you can contribute to in an organization, which function exactly will it suit you, would you want to do it for rest of your life? So I think it gives you an option to explore yourself a little more and align your career option with your interest. So I think that is an advantage of MBA, I feel.
So जो स्टूडेंट्स सुन रहे हैं, कई बार मेरे को स्टूडेंट्स बोलते हैं कि हम लोग को सेल्स में जाना ही नहीं है, तो आप इस तरह से नहीं चल सकते। एमबीए का मतलब सीईओ नहीं है। एंड नाउ एज एन व्हाट मिस अस्मिता हैज सेड कि जो एक सीईओ होता है, मैं क्योंकि इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड से आता हूँ, तो मेरे को पता है कि कुछ कंपनीज टेक्नोलॉजी वाली अलाउ करती हैं कि हाँ पीएचडी रिसर्च से भी आ जाए सीईओ। बट व्हाट शी सेड इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट बिकॉज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग दैट इज वेरी स्मॉल फ्रैक्शन। जो वो कह रही है कि आपको अलग 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 फंक्शनैलिटीज में काम करना पड़ेगा। योर लीडरशिप क्वालिटी वुड बी रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बाय योर सीनियर्स, बाय योर कोलीग्स, बाय योर समथिंग सो एंड सो फोर्थ। एंड वो करते करते यू माइट फाइंड एन एरिया, maybe you might be good in all of them and maybe in one area you might be too good. तो फिर then sort of you gain your reputation. तो सीवी से ज्यादा important I think so आपका reputation हो जाता है, how you have handled the project. Secondly she says interpersonal relationships. तो हमारे दिमाग में क्या होता है कि अभी ऑफिस जाएंगे, बिकॉज एज इंजीनियर्स हमें लगता है अगर हम टाटा के प्लांट में है तो हमें जो वर्कर है उससे गाली देके ही बात करना है, मतलब वर्क कल्चर जो है वो अलग होता है थोड़ा। और हमें सीधे सीधे उसमें एमबीए वाले वर्क कल्चर को भी इंक्लूड कर लेते हैं, कहते हैं कि मे बी द बॉस इज ऑलवेज शाउटिंग ऑन अस एंड इट्स नॉट अ वेरी हेल्दी एनवायरनमेंट। बट एट द करंट टाइम इफ यू लुक एट द बिग कंपनीज देयर आर लॉट ऑफ ma'ams working there and they are really I would say very strong on that front. They do not let certain things, certain work culture to be disturbed. तो ये जो हमारा मानना है हमें थोड़ा चेंज करना पड़ेगा जिनको एमबीए में जाना है। एंड यू हैव टू बी रेडी टू डू द वर्क दैट्स coming your way.
Correct.
अस्मिता, नेक्स्ट थिंग व्हाट आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू, एज यू हैव डिस्क्राइब कि चलिए एमबीए तो हमने इसलिए किया था, but you did SRCC से and then you did an MBA and then you worked. Out of them, जो एक ये हमारे मन में बात रहता है, बिकॉज एज अ स्टूडेंट हमारे मन में था कि यार एक ऐसा जॉब मिल जाए जिसमें हमारा सब कुछ सेटिस्फाइड हो रहे हम लोग, या फिर एक डिग्री ऐसी हो जाए जिसमें सब कुछ सेटिस्फाइड हो जाए, लगे यार सेटल हो गए अब, सही है, इट्स गुड, आई एम नॉट सर्चिंग और सीकिंग फॉर समथिंग। तो ये एसआरसीसी के बाद हुआ, एमबीए के बाद हुआ, या आपकी जो दो बड़ी मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज आपने एज ए कंसल्टिंग फर्म ज्वाइन कर दी उसके बाद हुआ?
Frankly, personally मेरा मानना है कि considering yourself settled is it's a mirage. It's not something. अगर आप ambitious हैं, अगर आप life में आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं तो कभी आप settle हो ही नहीं सकते हैं। When I started my first job, I had to work in IT and technology domain, coming from a commerce background. I had a lot of restrictions in my mind. I won't understand a thing. But I think that's a thing about consulting and a beauty of human brain. It doesn't have limit. Only the limit that you put on yourself. तो आप किसी भी रोल में आप आगे जाते हैं और आगे जाना चाहते हैं, आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं, तो आप कभी सेटल नहीं हो सकते। हर दिन नई टेक्नोलॉजी, नए ट्रेनिंग्स आपको मिलेंगे इन अ कॉर्पोरेट सेटअप, स्पेशली इन कंसल्टिंग, बिकॉज़ सर्विस बेस्ड काम है, तो आप क्लाइंट्स की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करेंगे
डोमेन
उसमें।
नॉलेज समझना पड़ेगा।
करेक्ट, सो यू नीड टू बी अप टू डेट to the latest technologies, latest skill set, ways of doing things ahead of your clients also, of who you like whose problem you're going to solve. So उस केस में there is never, you can't be finally settled. I mean, I think ये सिर्फ अपने दिमाग में समझाने वाली बात है कि इसके बाद मैं और जॉब नहीं चेंज करना चाहती और मैं ये मिल गया तो ये सब कुछ हो जाएगा। और आई थिंक किसी भी जॉब या सिचुएशन इन लाइफ इन जनरल कभी भी चीजें परफेक्ट नहीं होती हैं। यू इन realistically, one, at a lot of times you have to learn to like the things that need to be done. A lot of other times you seek interest and mold your interest in the direction of your work. You start liking things that ways. I think वो flexibility आपके दिमाग में जब होती है, उस चीज से job satisfaction और career satisfaction आता है। आप उस पे कोई नंबर्स नहीं पुट कर सकते कि मेरा इतना पैकेज होगा तो मैं करियर में सेटिस्फाइड होंगी, या मेरे पास ये रिसोर्सेस होंगे, घर होगा, या कोई फिजिकल मटेरियल चीजें होंगी, तो आप जॉब स्टेटस उसको उन मेजर में डिफाइन किया ही नहीं जा सकता। एंड ये बहुत बड़ी रियलाइजेशन थी मेरे लिए, स्पेशली कमिंग फ्रॉम अ स्मॉल टाउन। you have always heard these kind of things in your life, job lag jayegi, MBA ho jayegi, graduation ho jayegi, ye institute se ye ho jayega, uske baad things will be fine, uske baad that will be it, uske baad you can get married and you'll be settled in your life. ये सिर्फ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो हमें कही जाती हैं, पर सिचुएशन एंड द वर्ल्ड अराउंड अस इज चेंजिंग एवरी डे, सो वी नीड टू चेंज आवरसेल्फ एवरी डे, so there won't ever be a moment of settlement in your career, but I think you'll be satisfied or you'll feel settled when you're putting in best of your efforts, learning every day, and your efforts are being recognized. So just make sure the place or work you're in, job you're into, the environment is enriching, you're learning something every day, and people are collaborative enough to appreciate your efforts. I think that is what I would
And is
define as
there
settled.
or mostly all the companies have this sort of a conducive environment to learn and work, or are there specific companies that we should be looking at, or सब जगह हो जाता है startup से भी? I know it's a
ये
very, very broad question,
I
but to just give a very generalized answer, because what you're saying in this 2-3 minutes is very important. I may once again tell them. तो ये मेरा इसमें ऐड होने वाला लास्ट क्वेश्चन, तो हमें बहुत डर लगता है कि यार मैं अपने घर से दूर जा रहा हूँ, मेरा बॉस है, मेरे को मैनिपुलेट ना कर ले, मेरे कलीग्स मेरे को मैनिपुलेट ना कर लें, कभी मेरे को रिकॉग्निशन शायद ना मिले, क्या यहाँ तक तो कई कंपनीज में यूपी में लगता है यार पता नहीं सैलरी भी मिले ना मिले। तो ये जो इनसिक्योरिटीज हैं, या मेरी जॉब चली जाए, तो ये जो इनसिक्योरिटीज है, डू एज वी प्रोग्रेस, डू दे कीप ऑन गोइंग down and down and down and sort of you still feel it, but it's not that strong. Will I be correct in saying that?
I feel it's a two-way match between a person's personality and culture of an organization. So it might be a company का culture बहुत rigorous है, बहुत sales focused है, they even abuse you for meeting your targets. But maybe you as a personality are also driven by those kind of motivations.
Very
So
nice.
it's a match. There are companies who are softer, respectful, and you as a personality are a little submissive, for example, or don't like confrontation and like to be very formal when you're approached. So agar aap aise ho, to maybe you match yourself with a company culture. Now, there are two ways to go about it. Okay,
Yeah.
one, do your research beforehand, before joining a company. Read their Glassdoor reviews, read or talk to people working in those companies.
How trustable are those reviews according to you?
Actually, some of them aren't as bad. Go through them with a neutral frame of mind. You can also cold call people on LinkedIn working in that company. I'm getting a job offer from this and this, and you seem to be working in the same company in this. Maybe speak to you and understand how the work is, what kind of work they do, culture that is there. आप 6-10 लोगों को मैसेज करोगे, there is a very high likelihood एक या दो रिप्लाई करेंगे बीच में से. So one should not be hesitant in exploring and reaching out to people you may know in the organization. No, technology has made it so easy for us to gauge that. So through references or randomly googling people and LinkedIn and ping them, of course respecting their privacy and respecting them their time, you can reach out for those environments.
Sorry.
Having said that, after all that, it's possible you are stuck in a situation where after giving your best, after changing yourself, and after trying to mold yourself to fit in that position, you are still not satisfied. Then you might want to consider moving to a different organization where it might be of interest. But yes, there is no guarantee, or because organizations, especially MNCs, they're very big. तो कल्चर हर टीम का अलग है, टीम
अलग
के
हो
सब
जाते हैं.
पार्ट्स का अलग है, तो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गेज एंड बी वेरी जेनरिक अबाउट कौन सी कंपनी बेस्ट है किस चीज के लिए.
तो लेकिन ये हिट एंड ट्रायल मेथड से 5-6 साल में यू सॉर्ट ऑफ ट्राई टू नो कि बस ठीक है मैं इस तरह की टीम में फिट हो जाऊंगी, क्या मैं सही कह रहा हूँ, ऐसा हो जाता है?
मैं ऐसे लोगों को भी जानती हूँ जो शायद अपनी रिटायरमेंट तक भी नहीं सही टीम में फिट हो पाए,
Yeah, yeah,
पर
yeah, yeah.
ऐसे लोग भी हैं जिनकी पहली कंपनी ही उनकी आखिरी कंपनी थी। तो
दोनों तरफ से।
you may be
I
like,
really, yeah, yeah,
so I think that is life. What is it about? It's not just about even the companies you're getting into. Generally speaking, आप अपने relations में भी you can be like that, and you might confront other situations. Business में भी ऐसे हो सकता है. तो I think it's about the experience, of course. So one needs to be cautious, but you cannot blame yourself for taking a wrong decision because you would have done it the best at the time you were taking decision. आपने सब possible pros and cons evaluate करके वो एक decision लिया होगा, and उस टाइम पे वो ठीक लगा होगा. तो live through that. If अगर आप पूरे effort करने के बाद भी if it is not giving you results, then of course you feel free to change it. Is no longer a corporate ladder. It's a jungle gym, so people are jumping from one job to another, and when until they find their fit or their niche.
yeah, yeah. इसमें मैम ने जो कहा है मैं आपको एक बार समराइज कर दूं. स्टूडेंट्स के लिए देखिए जो एमबीए करना चाह रहे हैं, पर्सनालिटी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और उसके साथ आपका कल्चरल फिट ऑफ द कंपनी, कि आपकी पर्सनालिटी उधर फिट हो सके. If they are broad minded or if they are looking into innovation and you are traditional and you want to do by the steps, for example, kabhi kabhi when we used to work, people used to say आप हमें एकदम set instructions दीजिए, और कभी कभी कॉर्पोरेट में होता है वो कहते हैं कि ये दिस इज अ प्रोजेक्ट, यू स्टार्ट ऑफ, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ स्मॉल स्टार्टअप, एवरी प्रोजेक्ट इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक अ स्मॉल स्टार्टअप. मैम इज सेइंग इफ यू आर लुकिंग फॉर अ जॉब, आप रिसर्च करेंगे अपने एंड पे, आप ग्लास डोर हो गया न्यूट्रल होके पढ़िए, लिंक्डइन हो गया न्यूट्रल होके पढ़िए, आप थोड़ा सा फोटो से उन्होंने क्या लिखा है इससे समझने की कोशिश करिए, कोल्ड कॉल करके कंपनी के एम्प्लॉय से डेफिनेटली एक बार बात करिए. दीज आर प्रोसेस, आपको ये कर लेना चाहिए. आपको हेजिटेंट नहीं होना है टू रीच आउट. लिंक्डइन इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टूल व्हाइल रिस्पेक्टिंग द प्राइवेसी ऑफ द यूजर, कि आप उनसे एक बार बात करके समझिए किस तरह की प्रॉब्लम आती है. मे बी सम प्रॉब्लम जो वो बोल रहे हो आपके लिए प्रॉब्लम ही ना हो. अब हो सकता है वो बोले नहीं नहीं सैलरी तो टाइम पे आती है, एंड यू से ओके मुझे कुछ और जानना ही नहीं है. दे माइट से नहीं नहीं यहाँ पे तो ना बहुत वर्क स्ट्रेस है, हाँ कभी भी काम पे आ जाता है, तो आपने कहा मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. अब उसके डीपर जो इश्यूज हैं, मैं एक तरह से बताऊं तो उसके ऊपर के डीपर इश्यूज, जो उसके नीचे के जो डीपर इश्यूज हैं, वो हो सकता है आपके पर्सनालिटी के ऊपर हो, एंड हाउ डू यू एडजस्ट टू देम, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So this is what ma'am has said about the culture, about the working, and she's saying different companies हैं, बहुत सारी companies हैं, you can jump one on the other, one on the other, because straight away I'm telling you, जो हम हैं as UP students, and जो हमारे जिनसे हम लगातार बात करते रहे हैं, या फिर राजस्थान के, MP के, बिहार के, they think because they have seen their fathers being in a government job or always doing a same type of job, and then their father used to enforce on them a kind of a behavior which they thought would be helpful to them when they work. But that thing has changed, as she's saying, it's too diverse. So हमें उससे निकलना पड़ेगा. पहले MBA को केवल पैसों के बारे में तोलेंगे. Then I have seen people who have maybe worked in sales for 10 to 15 years. They were being paid very well. 45 के हो गए, 40 के हो गए, मिड लाइफ क्राइसिस आने लग गया. क्या होता है मिड लाइफ क्राइसिस? एकदम से लगा यार ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ. So they have earned a lot of money, but sales was like, okay, ठीक है मैंने कर लिया. Now they are getting into training, or they are maybe getting into digital space and doing something, or maybe even they're getting into teaching. So नए job profiles आ रहे हैं. So that was I think so one of the excellent answers ma'am जो आपने दिया है compared to the same question when I have asked to different people. So it's quite open-ended. It was very nice. मैम नेक्स्ट हम आपके थोड़ा सा एक्सपीरियंस के ऊपर.
जस्ट एक चीज और मैं ऐड करना चाहती हूँ इसमें. व्हेन आई एम सेइंग आप जंप कर सकते हैं एक कंपनी से दूसरी तरफ, प्रैक्टिकली जब आप किसी कंपनी के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं, आई थिंक ये मैंने अपनी खुद की जनरेशन में ये चीज देखी है. वी आर वेरी इम्पेशेंट विद एंड वी वांट रिजल्ट्स इमीडिएटली, वी वांट टू ऐड वैल्यू इमीडिएटली. तो हम चाहते हैं कि सब एकदम से ठीक हो जाए, आज से ही मेरे को रिकग्निशन मिल जाए, एक ही महीने में मेरे को कोई अवार्ड दे दे, ऐसा इट टेक्स टाइम. तो आई थिंक आपको एक कंपनी को फेयर चांस देना पड़ेगा कि वो आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी दे और आप उसमें अपने आप को प्रूव कर सको. तो 1 महीने 2 महीने 6 महीने में नहीं होता है. Minimum 2 years I feel is like recommendatory, that you spend that much time understanding the company, understanding what opportunities it has to give to you, and where you can make a difference. At least that much time is a reasonable expectation from an employer also, to evaluate you if you're the right fit for the job also or not. So having said that, there are options you can switch, of course. If it's totally unbearable for you, work conditions are very bad for you or something, but I want you to also keep in mind, this thing is looked at by HR in your CV also. If you're jumping companies very frequently, आप एक एक साल में कंपनी छोड़ रहे हो, मे बी आगे अच्छा पैकेज मिल जाएगा या मुझे नहीं पसंद आया, you can also be seen as non-adjusting or not committed enough to an organization. So
Just
मैं ये नहीं कह रही
confused,
कि
greedy, whatever they might
तो
think.
ये
All
नहीं
that, all of these things.
Exactly. So I'm asking you to be reasonable, find a balance कि आप समझें कंपनी को, क्या वो आपको आपके लिए कहाँ बेनिफिशियल हो सकती है, पर ऑल्सो ये नहीं है कि आपको वो प्रमोट नहीं करे, 5 साल 10 साल आप एक ही पोजीशन में अटके हुए हैं, तो आप डोंट एक्सप्लोर बिकॉज दैट इज नेवर ऑप्शन, इट्स नॉट. तो ये अपने दिमाग में से ये इनहिबिशन निकाल दीजिए कि देयर आर नो अदर ऑप्शंस. सेकेंडली, make yourself more prepared for the next job you want to be doing. इतने सारे ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं, बहुत सारी वेबसाइट्स हैं at much cheaper price. You don't need to do a specialization or a formalized degree. Just prepare yourself for the role you want to do, and
Are
you can.
they do these courses from companies like Upgrad, or there are other companies online, certificate based? Even Google has some certification. Harvard gives on multiple domains, and then you can have a certificate. Are you talking about those certifications?
Those also. So मान लीजिए आपकी कंपनी बहुत बड़ी है एंड आपको किसी रोल के लिए लिया गया, आपको वो पसंद नहीं है, आपको किसी और रोल में इंटरेस्ट है पर आप उसके लिए क्वालिफाइड नहीं है, तो मे बी यू गो थ्रू दो सर्टिफिकेशंस एंड ट्राई टू अप्रोच मैनेजर्स internally and then say that I'm interested, maybe I'll start at a lower level, I am doing these certifications. You can ask for experience in that. Most of the people are accommodative, they see ambition, they see will to learn. Some technical चीजें सिखाई जाती हैं companies में. They assume people won't know everything when they join a job. In most cases, especially entry level positions, उनको पता है कि उनको बिल्कुल scratch से लोगों को सिखाना पड़ेगा. So they see the soft skills that are more important. Aptitude है बंदा, logical reasoning है कि नहीं है, या आप ability to learn है और commitment कितनी है सीखने के लिए, या खाली काम टालना पसंद है, या they don't want escapists, they want people who are committed and want to do job. They spend thousands of dollars on training people to do job already. So I think this needs to be kept in mind.
Very very crucial information. I'll just paraphrase it for our audience. देखिए मैम ये कह रही है कि जो हमने अभी बात करी कि हमेशा ऑप्शन है, बट मैम बहुत क्लेवरली उन्होंने एक दूसरा साइड भी दिखाया है जो इसको बैलेंस करेगा. दैट इज कि हम सबको चाहिए होता है. हमें क्या चाहिए? हम आईएएस क्यों बनना चाहते हैं? आप किसी से पूछ लीजिए यहाँ पे, वो बोलेगा हमें गाड़ी चाहिए, हमें इज्जत चाहिए, हमें रिस्पेक्ट चाहिए. दैट्स रिकॉग्निशन. इफ यू टॉक अबाउट कि व्हाई आई वांट टू जॉइन अ गवर्नमेंट जॉब, मनी, स्टेबिलिटी, ओके, वो तो हर कॉर्पोरेट में भी. बट यू से नहीं, हमें इज्जत मिलेगी, हमें विल गेट रिस्पेक्ट, विल सॉर्ट ऑफ अ फील अ प्राइड दैट वी वर मीनिंगफुल, दैट वी कंट्रीब्यूटेड. मैम ये कह रही है कि एटलीस्ट आप 2 साल दीजिए उसके साथ कि आपके पास ऑप्शन बहुत है, आप वो मत डरो. आप इसको पहले 2 साल दो, क्योंकि आपको एकदम से नहीं समझ में आएगा कि क्या हो रहा है. मे बी यू लीव समथिंग विच टर्न्स आउट टू बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो एक पॉइंट ये था, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. Adding to कि there are lot of options. If you're really after money and you're like I'm very ambitious, like cutthroat, and you're not saying no, मुझे आगे जाना है, then you should already be that much qualified or that much talented. ठीक है, वो एक अलग बात होगी. Then secondly, मैम is saying जो ये questions बार बार आ रहे हैं, बार बार ये questions हमसे लोग पूछ रहे हैं, ऑनलाइन कोर्सेस. अब देखिए एजुकेशन सिस्टम ऑल टुगेदर हमारा जो है वो अच्छा है, but it might not always make you industry ready for every industry. ये तो होगा नहीं, ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. आपको किसी एक चीज के लिए बनाएंगे, बट कंसल्टिंग फर्म मल्टीपल डोमेन्स में काम करती है, और हो सकता है आपको बड़ा मजा है डेटा एनालिटिक्स में, बट आपने डेटा एनालिटिक्स की डिग्री ना हो। तो फिर आप ये जो बार बार लोग पूछ रहे हैं कि ये कोर्सेज इफेक्टिव हैं कि नहीं है, आप उस क्वेश्चन को गलत तरह से देख रहे हैं। उसको केवल कर लेने से वो इफेक्टिव नहीं होंगे, लेकिन अगर आप उसको सीख लेते हैं और आप उसे अपनी कंपनी में डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कर लेते हैं, दे आर ऑलवेज लुकिंग फॉर पीपल इनसाइड ऑफ द कंपनी हु आर एनहांसिंग देयर स्किल्स। क्योंकि उन्हें ट्रेनिंग में, जो फिर उन्होंने खुद ही ऐड करा है मैम ने, कि ट्रेनिंग में इतना खर्चा करना होता है, तो हम कभी कंपनी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सोचते नहीं, हम केवल अपने पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सोचते हैं। लेकिन जब अगर हम कंपनी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू सोचेंगे, तो वो अपना पैसा ट्रेनिंग में भी बचाना चाहती है, वो अपना अट्रिशन रेट कम करना चाहती है। तो इस तरह के कोर्सेज आप डेफिनेटली करिए। आपको अगर लग रहा है कैसे आपकी पेडागोगी होनी चाहिए, कौन से करने हैं, कहाँ आप टारगेट लेके चल रहे हो, वी कैन डेफिनेटली हैव, एंड वी हैव वंडरफुल पीपल लाइक मैम, other people who have come on our channel who can guide us in this corporate thing. मैम अब आपकी थोड़ी पढ़ाई की तरफ, नहीं आप if you wanted to add something, sure.
Just one thing I want to
sure,
add.
sure.
I think it's a lesson I have learned in my life, and it just related to the point what I've said. Don't be afraid in reaching out to people, be it seeking counseling help. आप अपने सीनियर्स से कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं कॉलेज में, जिस कॉलेज में जाना चाहते हैं उनके एग्जिस्टिंग स्टूडेंट्स से कुछ पूछ सकते हैं, रीच आउट कर सकते हैं, लिंक्डइन पे ढूंढ के या गूगल पे देके या किसी रेफरेंस के थ्रू. You always research and ask them about your issues, your problems, और जो भी आप जानना चाहते हैं उस इंस्टीट्यूट के बारे में. सेम अप्लाइज टू कंपनीज, जॉब्स. बिफोर ज्वाइनिंग, आप ज्वाइन करने से पहले उस कंपनी के बारे में जो जानना चाहते हैं, और ज्वाइन करने के बाद विद इन दैट कंपनी आप अपने कॉलीग्स, मैनेजर्स, खाली अपनी टीम नहीं दूसरी टीम से भी आप अपने अंदर से ये हेजिटेशन निकाल के, जब आप when you start reaching out, you will realize people are more than willing to help in a lot of cases, a big majority of cases. So I think since I'm coming from a background where I would hesitate in asking people, I think that have seen in a lot of other people also, and they think नहीं मैं इस बंदे को डिस्टर्ब करूंगा, मे बी मुझे बेवकूफ समझेंगे कि मुझे इतना भी नहीं पता है, या मुझे मे बी कोई रिप्लाई नहीं करेगा, तो मतलब डोंट टेक इट ऑन योर सेल्फ एस्टीम. दिस हाउ इज सपोज टू बी. बट अगर जो आपको इनपुट देते हैं या हेल्प करते हैं, जो कि काफी लोग होते हैं, it will always be helpful. They also see how ambitious you are, how interested you are, and that counts a lot for a job or for getting into an institute, for any position, even in societies and in a college. I think that they like to see that that yeah, exactly, that passion from your side. If you're passionate, you'll definitely do your best to be good at that job. So don't hesitate ever in reaching out to people. I think that's one of the very important things I wanted to
interpersonal relationships पे आप work करिए, how to communicate your behavior, and then have that confidence कि आप लोगों से पूछो, किसी तरह से बात करो, crack the ice, start talking. Even if you ask about their experience, अपने बारे में सब बात करना चाहते हैं. मैं तो कह रहा हूँ मेरा बस तो अभी चले मैं अपने बारे में बात कर लूं, तो आप उनसे पूछिए, कोई ना कोई ऐसा निकलेगा, क्योंकि वो आपकी प्रॉब्लम जो है वो जेन्युइन है, सबके दिमाग में आई है. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इंसाइट है कि सबके दिमाग में वो आई है. हाउ दे हैव टैकल्ड इट. वो अगर ये सोचे इसको कितना इतना भी नहीं पता, तो हाँ नहीं तो नहीं पता था ना मुझे, उसमें क्या हो गया. वो तो आप फैक्ट की तरह लो, ज्यादा इमोशन उसमें या सेल्फ एस्टीम पे लेने की जरूरत नहीं. आई थिंक सो दिस इज व्हाट मैम इज आल्सो सेइंग. थोड़ा रीच आउट करो. और ये हमारे कल्चर में थोड़ा सा हम लोग रीच आउट कम करते हैं, क्योंकि जब हम रीच आउट करते हैं तो हम डिपेंडेंट ही हो जाते हैं. मैम को रीच आउट किया, फ्रेंड को रीच आउट किया, हम डिपेंडेंट हो जाते हैं. डिपेंडेंसी नहीं क्रिएट करनी है, अपना नॉलेज बढ़ाना है. आई थिंक सो दैट्स व्हाट शी इज सेइंग.
एग्जैक्टली.
मैम इसमें मैं आपसे अब एक चीज अब पूछूंगा. अब हम लोग आएंगे IIM लखनऊ की तरफ. Which are the functional areas of MBA for which IIM Lucknow is known for?
IIM Lucknow
for marketing. तो IIM Lucknow किस चीज के लिए जाना जाता है आपके हिसाब से?
Right. Basic, I think common understanding here, IIM Lucknow is considered a marketing campus. I'll briefly tell you about कौन सा campus के लिए जाना चाहता है का मतलब क्या है exactly. There are two ways to choose a college. Generally, people go by ranking or by different institutes. I won't go into that because that's publicly available. दूसरी चीज ये है कि आप अपने इंटरेस्ट से कैसे अलाइन कर सकते हैं उसको. तो there are different campuses known for different areas. I'm Lucknow, for example, for marketing, 𝗧𝗭𝐺 for HR. There is the IIFT for international trade and world affairs. I'm Calcutta for finance, Bangalore for IB or investment banking kind of role, or consulting.
Banking and IB.
Right. Consulting as well. I think Ahmedabad is known for strategy. So these are some domains of MBA or functions within an organization in which these campuses have a kind of specialization. When we say specialization, इसका मतलब क्या है? जो पूरा ecosystem है, that is more favorable to these functions. For example, faculty इस area में expertise है. जो company placement के लिए आती हैं, वो IIM लखनऊ से marketing के ज़्यादा लोग लेके जाती है as compared to Ahmedabad, Bangalore or even Calcutta. So there will be more companies coming for marketing roles than marketing companies in Ahmedabad, Bangalore or Calcutta or other campuses, XYZ. I'm just giving an example. So research opportunities या आपका placement case studies, faculty, alumni base, all of these things are aligned to that area of specialization. So you will, अगर मैं for example एक company मान लीजिए PNG अगर एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं, IIM लखनऊ से हर साल मार्केटिंग के ज्यादा कैंडिडेट्स हायर करती है. तो that if it is doing it for a period of time,
the company is PWG.
Procter and Gamble.
Okay, Procter and Gamble. Okay, right. Yeah.
It's just an example. So yeah. Over a period of time, वो आपके कैंपस से काफी लोग हायर कर चुके हैं, तो आपका वहाँ पे alumni base of that campus will be higher. So there is a probability that you will know more people when you join a company. So the entire ecosystem of and opportunities are more aligned to that function area. So just to answer your question, it's marketing for Lucknow, and if you're interested in that area, you'll have slightly higher probability of getting aligned to a job of your interest if you're in Lucknow than any other campus.
Okay, nice, good enough. And MBA के बाद आपने जब SRCC में you were in BCom honors and you did BCom honors, and then IIM Lucknow में what was your major and what was your sort of the minor which you had taken?
My majors was in finance and strategy. Okay. Finance because it was more aligned to my background, and strategy because that was something I was interested in. I didn't take any minors. I just distributed my other electives equally across areas.
Finance and strategy. So strategy तो हो गया कि ये तो consulting में आपको बहुत ज़्यादा help करेगा ही, जैसे ही कोई नया project आया तो strategy help करेगा. And because you have also worked in areas of mergers and acquisitions, so finance, at least you might know sort of important parameters to judge. Okay. And आपने minor में क्या किया?
मैंने actually बाकी electives I divided equally. I didn't do a minors. Okay. But I mean, just to give a background, I was interested in finance because it was aligned to the subjects we study in BCom, and initially I was planning to do CA or chartered accountancy. So I cleared IPCC, and I had read a lot of finance. I had studied it a lot. I liked it a lot. So I think it's more analytical and more logical. It's easy to interpret logically, more easy for me than other subjects. That's the only reason I took finance. So yes. But yes, I don't think
marketing अगर हम पढ़ रहे हैं, for example फिलिप कॉटलर पढ़ रहे हैं, या फिर हम कोई और ऐसा थोड़ा सा भी abstract चीज पढ़ रहे हैं, तो उसका जो application करना होगा, there's a difference in what we study and there's a difference in how to apply it. But finance दोनों जगह आई थिंक सो इट्स इक्वल, क्योंकि वो एनालिटिकल ज्यादा है। या सही बात है ये
पर
तो।
एक बात जो मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगी, फॉर इफ यू आर लुकिंग फॉर अ करियर इन कंसल्टिंग, it doesn't matter which domain you're coming from, you just need to have an open mindset and
क्या
you
की
want to
स्किल
learn.
आपको लगता है हमें कंसल्टिंग में चाहिए? जो आपने पहले बोली वही है, कम्युनिकेशन, ओपननेस, इनिशिएटिव, इनिशिएटिव होने में थोड़ा सा एक्सट्रोवर्जन चाहिए, और इंट्रोवर्टेड साइड पे हमें ये चाहिए कि हम थोड़ा इमोशनली स्ट्रांग रहें, कि झिझके नहीं, वी डू नॉट हैव सर्टेन prejudices already, तो दिस वुड वर्क, दिस स्किल सेट।
आई थिंक जो ये स्किल सेट है ये किसी भी कॉर्पोरेट सेटअप में जरूरी है। मे बी एक्सट्रोवर्टिज्म को छोड़ दिया जाए तो कंसल्टिंग क्लाइंट फेसिंग वर्क है इन मोस्ट केसेस, तो आपको क्लाइंट से बात करनी पड़ेगी। सो you would need to have those communication skills in place. You need to be confident enough to be answering to their questions even if you're not very sure of it all the time. You can politely, of course, deal with those situations in a different way. I mean, it's a different subject, but extrovertism is a favorable characteristic to have for consulting. Other than that, I think problem solving is the biggest thing. So consulting interviews में mostly they are case study based, तो आप सारे cases आपसे solve करवाए जाते हैं ताकि आप किसने different business situation में आप given a lot of data, some of which might not be relevant. How do you select the relevant data
abstract
exactly
intelligence? Abstract intelligence means कि आपको बहुत सारी चीजें दी गई हैं, उसमें से आप इंपॉर्टेंट चीज निकालो। तो ये जो मैम जैसे कह रही है ना, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, ये एब्स्ट्रैक्ट इंटेलिजेंस वाले लोग कर सकते हैं ज्यादा।
Correct. And also what you will need to solve it under a time pressure. You will need to have a structured way of thinking. These are favorable capabilities to have for consulting. Other than that, I think an openness and willingness to learn and travel a lot, because it is a travel intensive profession and it changes, it's very dynamic. So aapka client project can be 2 months, 2 weeks or 1 year, and her project will be more or less different than each other. So you will keep learning continuously, but you need to update your skill set also continuously. So you should be open to that. If you feel more comfortable doing one kind of job for a long period of time, then probably consulting is not the place for you, because आपको अपना you can't let your correct, you can't let your skill set get obsolete, and it's ever changing, it's very demanding that way. Maybe अगर आपको long duration के लिए एक काम करना अच्छा लगता है, तो other functional areas like finance and HR might be a better fit for you, or operations probably might be a better fit for you than consulting specifically.
Okay. Coming down to the last few questions, ma'am, now we'll wind it up after that. Among the last question, first is, आपको क्या लगता है करंट सिनारियो में कैट का प्रिपरेशन कैसे होना चाहिए, कैसे करें स्टूडेंट्स?
Correct. See, generally speaking about CAT, जैसे मैंने कहा, MBA institutes are looking for people who are ready for the jobs जिसके लिए corporate hire करते हैं. तो उसके लिए I mean, there would be things that they're looking for people who are problem solvers. Again, abstract intelligence, as you spoke about. They use logic. They take optimum decision under time constraint, adding value using your special skill set. This is the kind of situations you would be facing as a person in a job after MBA. So they try to look for those hidden talents in you through CAT. So nowadays, I think how does it reflect in CAT? There are 3 sections, I think, nowadays. If I'm up to date.
LR, VARC, and Con.
Correct. So current situation, I think most people join coachings. I also did join an institute, but that is, the purpose of it is to establish a discipline. They will teach you the tips and trick to solve questions, but it's not like you can't read about it and but रोज 1 घंटा 2 घंटे उसको dedicatedly देना, that is the purpose of those institutes, nothing else. They can't change your mind that way. Most commercial institutes I'm talking about. I think the important part is practicing. So mock test, if you want to join an institute, then the most focus area should be mock test. Keep practicing, analyzing your areas of improvement, see the repetitive mistakes, separate them out, mark them, time things. आप stop watch चला के एक exercise को कितना time लग रहा है करने में, वो सब देखिए. Then talking about in general, the three areas of CAT, I think we have QA or quant, in which it's about how fast you can. Yeah, it's about how fast you can solve problems, but it's also about knowing your strengths and choosing the right questions to solve. You may not be comfortable with entire maths. Same with DI also, in fact. You may not be comfortable with questions which are very complex. So know what is your strength. If quant is your strength and you want to solve all of it, go for it. If there is trigonometry is your strength, or geometry is your strength, then choose those questions first and quickly solve and go ahead. If you think that some area is not your strength, then you don't need to waste time on it. That is what you'll do in your job also. So try to relate and understand the importance. It's not like some maths, English, GK ka test that somebody has prepared. Second thing is logical reasoning. I think that is my personal favorite also. I think it is truly reflective of both your logic and common sense skills. So it's easy to learn it with practice, and it's an area where marks can be scored easily without having any specialization or inclination towards maths or English or anything like that. For VARC, I would have a tip basically. See, this is a language of business, so you need to have a command over it. I'm coming from a background where I have studied most of my schooling was in Hindi medium, so I understand.
मैम आपको तो इंग्लिश मीडियम में आप जिस तरह बोल रहे हो कोई कह नहीं सकता ये.
See, I think everybody evolves through a stage. If you spoke to me in first year of my college, I was not as fluent in English. I was even hesitant. I would speak wrongly, and people would make fun of me. Especially, I think in SRCC,
then you
Delhi
are an
University.
inspiration to students. I'll just tell you one thing. One student right now, he has asked कि मैं introverted हूँ, मैम जैसे बोल रही हैं वैसे कैसे बोला जा सकता है? How to improve my communication skills if I am an introvert? This is a student who is asking. वो आपके chat box में भी आ गया होगा question.
Okay, sorry, I think I missed that, but yes, I'll try my best to.
Deepak Singh hai. Hi Deepak, and he's asking how to improve communication skills if you are an introvert person.
See, okay, I'll just do quickly one thing. I'll summarize the point on CAT, and I'll come to these questions just to not break the chain of thoughts.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about VA and RC, as I was saying that coming from a Hindi medium, there would be a lot of things you would not be comfortable with. Practicing is the key actually, and timing. आप reading comprehension करते हैं, there are words that are written कि ये 200 words का paragraph है, 300 words का paragraph है. अपनी phone में stop watch चला के रोज जब पढ़ते हैं तो उसका time देखिए आपको वो पढ़ने में कितना time लग रहा है, because उसके basis पे आप questions answer करेंगे, and you count your average words read per second every day when you practice. It should decrease. So आप जितना पढ़ेंगे, जितना जल्दी आप focus करेंगे, आपको वो घड़ी चलते रहने की माइंड को आदत होगी कि उतने प्रेशर में आप समझ भी पा रहे हैं और पढ़ भी पा रहे हैं, तो आपका दिमाग यूज्ड हो जाएगा. एट द टाइम ऑफ राइटिंग कैट यू विल बी फोकस्ड विद दैट टिकिंग क्लॉक and you will read faster and meaningfully. So
yeah, a normal person, I think so, he reads like 200 words a minute or something. So okay, maybe that's, you can check up on the net and then try to adapt yourself and try to increase it. And जैसे मैम कह रही है कि पैटर्न एक बन जाएगा, सो सबकॉन्शियसली आपको पता है, तो चलता रहेगा.
एग्जैक्टली, वो टिकिंग क्लॉक के साथ अपने माइंड को उस प्रेशर के अंदर काम करने की आदत डालें. तो आप मॉक टेस्ट, एग्जैक्टली, तो अब अपने प्रैक्टिस बुकलेट्स में जब आप एक्सरसाइज करते हैं, एवरी सिंगल एक्सरसाइज टाइम इट, बिकॉज आपका दिमाग को वो प्रेशर की आदत डाली है. इट शुड नॉट बी आप कैट के टाइम पे पैनिक होके आधा पेपर छोड़ के आ रहे हैं. इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक दैट. सो I think that, and especially people who think they have certain weak areas, time it on those weak areas, and write down your repetitive mistakes and see what is the pattern. That is the most important part for preparing for CAT. Having said that, there are some colleges who shortlist not just on the basis of CAT scores. I've seen people 99.5 percentile, they didn't get a shortlist from best colleges, but 94 percentile they got shortlist. So there are colleges, I would say SPJAN is there, jockey profile base pe, they give you a call, or work-ex ke basis pe, aapke CV or extracurriculars ke basis pe. So especially when you're in your undergrad, and especially if you're taking a break in your for writing CAT, drop year le rahe hain, enrich your CV for that time, enrich, try to do as many internships as possible. If not, I mean, you can do it through the sources I mentioned: online internship, reaching out to people, if any connects you have, of course, applying.
Startups, Internshala.
So if not those, then do an NGO work, help if you have a family business.
Definitely.
So
Don't do it for the money, do it for the exposure.
Exactly. Or work experience counted, it enriches your CV. It reflects you. You're not a person who wants to sit idle and prepare for an exam you're desperate to crack. It shows you want to spend your time meaningfully in learning something. In CAT interviews, they don't want to see people who are, just want to get a good paying job from a B school, but also want to learn the most the B school has to offer, especially academics. The people who are interviewing are the professors in that institute, and B schools have a lot to offer. So learning should be your focus, also should be reflecting in your CV. A willingness to do things, not sit idle. So try to enrich your CV with internships and extracurriculars as much as possible. Align it to your interest, and have a background story or personalized approach on how you answer things. Exactly. If time permits, I might want to spend a little time on how to personalize your answers and all. Now I'll just quickly jump to the question on communication skills that Deepak was
I
asking.
think so. The interview skills, what we are doing right now is, Asmita, that what we are doing ki hum log abhi from the next week we will be starting mock GDs and mock interviews, in which firstly our whole team will sit down live and we'll demonstrate what can be done, what are the, because it's quite difficult कि आपके क्या rules होते हैं ना समझाना directly. So we'll showcase what is to be done, and then next week we will invite students on live sessions to have a GD with us.
Great.
ये जब हो जाता है, maybe we invite you if your time permits, and if you come to us, then our viewers will also be ready to receive that kind of a knowledge more intensely, क्योंकि उन्हें पता होगा. तो अगर आप बोलें तो आप give us 2 weeks or 3 weeks and let us just first do this exercise which we are thinking about, and then we can have your expertise on the interview part, because that's very important.
I know, and it's a big area to even cover. So
I understand, but but the things that you have said, they have reinforced certain very important areas, and people would have understood. And एक बात जो आपने कही है, अगर वो एक भी follow करते हैं, तो वो उन्हें फायदा करेगी, because you have taken your job quite seriously, you have learned very well, and you are ambitious. So ये qualities केवल आपको देख के भी उनके अंदर थोड़ी आए, so I think so this is a successful interview.
I really hope.
Last, no, don't worry, they will. मुझे समझने को कई चीजें मिल रही हैं. तो मैं लास्टली रैप अप करने के लिए 2 क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ. एक तो कम्युनिकेशन स्किल फॉर इंट्रोवर्ट वो है, एक है IIM में लखनऊ में क्या परसेंटाइल चाहिए, एंड वी डू नॉट वांट कि अलग अलग लोग है, क्योंकि अलग अलग होता है, डाइवर्सिटी अलग है, कैट अलग है, ये अलग है. आप अपने हिसाब से बताएं कि कितना, मतलब एक आदमी अगर जो मे बी DU से पढ़ा है या LU से पढ़ा है, BCom करा है, BSc करा है, उसे कितना परसेंटाइल लाने की जरूरत है. तो दिस वुड बी आवर लास्ट क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम ऑल द व्यूअर्स फॉर टुडे.
ठीक है. Done. So I'll get to them one by one. First on communication skills. See, I'm not sure how right person I am to answer this, because I have been working on this on a day-to-day basis myself. But one thing I'll say, I think I have progressed at least from where I started. So I came from a background, as I said, I did most of my education in Hindi medium. Um, but and Going to SRCC, it can be slightly intimidating at times, or even any big
Overwhelming.
exactly. So I think one thing that uh, kept me on the path was, one, I was willing to learn. So for language, if you want to get a command, I I feel listening to it all the time and trying to practice, these are the only two things. Writing,
Okay.
written, formal communication, you learn on the job. A lot of people do. B school also puts in a lot of effort in that. There are courses on communication inside MBA. So written communication is easier to take on. Verbally, it requires confidence. So that is one thing. You, if you don't have it inherently, being an introvert or something, you speak to yourself when you're alone in your thoughts. Try to think in the language you're trying to learn. Not just for English, any other language you might be willing to. Listen to that music in that language. Watch movies or interviews or your job preparation material in that language. Listen to news in that language. Surround yourself with people who speak that language. If it is, it's not possible in most cases, right? Have friends who don't make fun of you but try to encourage you, so that when you are speaking, it's, you feel more confident and you are not taken aback. If any of this is not possible, write to yourself maybe, or instill that confidence in yourself. It's okay that if you're speaking wrongly, or if you're not able to communicate as confidently, you might think that I sound funny when I say this, and people might think I'm trying to fake an accent or trying to speak things that's not natural to me or not taken well in your environment, in the small cities especially. Write to yourself and talk to yourself, tell yourself that it's okay, this is a part of the process, and then try to overcome that resistance from
Inhibition, yeah.
inside to, exactly,
Mm.
inhibition or resistance from yourself to speak that ways. I think only practice and confidence are the two keys. So whenever you're lacking, practice through sources, confidence, surround yourself with people, or talk to yourself to increase that confidence in you. कोई speaking course or anything, all those things don't matter, frankly. They don't do anything no good to you. जब आप एक environment में हैं जहाँ, that is the language you interact in to people, you can't help it. You'll start wrong, but eventually you will, be there. But you keep yourself interested. You should not lose hope and not have, uh, you don't want to be not interested in improving yourself. So that is, I think, I hope that makes sense, and I hope it helps a little bit.
Definitely, yes. जो आप
Yeah.
कह रहे हो, definitely they will end. मतलब वो आप you are touching upon the key important points जो सबको at least यहाँ से तो शुरू करना ही है, और इनके बाद आता है outer help, कि अगर आपको कहीं जाके बात करनी है, कोई रीडिंग क्लब ज्वाइन करना है, या फिर आप, बहुत से होते हैं, सोसाइटीज होती है, डिबेट्स होते हैं, चीजें होती हैं, उसके पहले ये काम हो जाना चाहिए, that you have overcome certain sort of inhibitions and you have made a sort of a resilient process inside of you in terms of कि अगर कोई गलती होती है, कुछ होता है, क्योंकि हमारी सोसाइटी तो रूथलेस है, तो
Exactly.
वो जब होता है तो you have that resilience inside of you to overcome it, because that is the only way. बिकॉज कम्युनिकेट मतलब टॉक, और कम्युनिकेशन केवल कम्युनिकेशन में जो भी देख रहे हैं सब, कम्युनिकेशन में ये नहीं है कि आपको इंग्लिश ही बोलनी है, हिंदी ही बोलनी है, तो मीडियम ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन है,
Exactly.
राइटिंग भी कम्युनिकेशन है, लिसनिंग वुड बी कंसिडर्ड लाइक लिसनिंग एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज द मे बी द टॉप मोस्ट स्किल फॉर कम्युनिकेशन. जब आप उसकी
Correct.
बात सुन ही नहीं रहे हो और जब आप समझ ही नहीं रहे हो, तो आप क्या बात करोगे? क्योंकि मे बी समटाइम्स from your side you might not need any sort of a verbal communication, written communication or anything. Even your body language will help you. So what ma'am
Correct.
is saying, you have to develop first that foundation inside of you, and then look towards outside where speaking can be, because that's also an important thing, and we work on that after that.
करेक्ट. एक आजकल आई थिंक देयर आर लॉट ऑफ एप्लीकेशंस आल्सो. सो अगर आपको प्रोनाउंसिएशन ऑफ वर्ड्स सीखना है तो देयर विल बी एप्स जिसमें वो टेक्स्ट रीड करते हैं, तो यू लिसन टू व्हाट इज बीइंग रिटन, so that helps you understand how to pronounce it also. And that is one thing you can do. There are multiple apps in that way. You can practice on those applications also. I've seen people, you can have friends who are interested in that, and you make a pact that you'll speak to each other in that language you're trying to learn, be it English, any other thing. So that also helps. You'll be motivating each other mutually, and it'll be beneficial. I've seen for certain other language, I've been trying to learn French for some time. So people, what they do, they have friends on Facebook from other countries who speak that language,
Yeah, buddy,
and they
language
practice with them.
buddies.
Exactly. So there are endless ways to practice that. आपके दिमाग में बस you need to take it out of your head that you can't, or you don't have that confidence. I think confidence is the only key to be able to speak and express your opinion.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So, ma'am, a very what would I say, a warm thank you from all our viewers, क्योंकि लोगों को समझ में आई बातें, लोगों ने मैसेजेस भी करे हैं. It was very fruitful because आपने एक बहुत ही candid way में अपना experience बताया है, and it had a lot of information. Maybe जितनी हम लोग सोच रहे थे उससे कई ज्यादा थी. I hope that you will be helping us out in later stages of our work also. A sort of just giving a tips to.
Sure, definitely.
So on that note, I'd like to really thank you for coming here and for being a wonderful person कि आपने हिंदी से इंग्लिश भी सीखा, आपने वो तक बताया, अपने एक तरह के आपने वो बताया कि क्या ऑब्स्टिकल्स आ सकते हैं, and with your sincerity जो आपने अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया है, so I hope ये अब लोग इसका फायदा उठाएं, because I really enjoyed. I had a lot of writing things down, so thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. And yes, I would definitely love to help. If anyone can learn from my experience, I would be happy to pass down that letter, send the elevator down again and help somebody if I can. And I think one last thing I would like to probably tell whoever is watching is, your life itself is filled with a lot of enriching experience and inspiration. You may not see it that way now, maybe in some time you can. And we did an exercise of understanding this when I was in IIM Lucknow. We were asked to write story of our lives. So spend as much time as needed. Write down every event in your life from your birth till now that you remember.
That's a very good exercise, actually.
Exactly. So that makes you understand how you're formed, what are your strengths, weaknesses, what were the instances in your life that have built you and made you what you are right now. Would you like to change them? Do you feel good about them? Do you want to keep those qualities with you? Do you want to enrich those qualities, find work in those areas? Do you want to improve upon them because they're not your the most things you would like to remember forever, or not the best moments of your life? So, and spend 2-3 days doing it. Maybe you can do it in a Word doc or OneNote on laptop, phone,
or pen and paper. Do not forget pen and paper, because this, when you keep writing, this is directly connected to your head. So what you're writing, it's directly going there.
Correct. It might be stupidest thing of your life, smallest event.
I would really second this. What would be this approach? Why? क्योंकि हमारे माइंड में चैटरिंग होती रहती है, हम अपने आप से कुछ ना कुछ बात करते ही जा रहे हैं, और वो जो आप अगर देखेंगे, it's sort of a schizophrenic thing. I'm not saying it's schizophrenia, but I'm saying it's sort of a schizophrenic thing कि कोई है ही नहीं, तो आप किससे बात करो? But that narrative, from a psychological point of view, gives you the continuity to from day to day, so you're not lost. So what ma'am is saying कि आप पूरी चीजें लिख लीजिए, हर एक चीज कि okay. ऐसा है दुनिया, मेरे अंदर का इनर वर्ल्ड ऐसा है. So you sort of have an continuity. You have sort of a continuity, and it sort of gives you an ambition or a sort of pull upwards. So this is very important what ma'am has said. And जो स्टूडेंट मुझसे पूछ रहा था इंट्रोवर्टेड लोगों को क्या करना चाहिए, एक्सट्रोवर्टेड की कहानी बाहर ही चलती है, उसके दोस्त हैं, चीजें हैं, ये है वो है, सब बाहर चलता है. इंट्रोवर्टेड की कहानियां ही उससे भी कभी कभी नहीं पता होती. तो आप लिखिए और इसे यूज करिए. ये साइकोलॉजिकल टूल जो मैम ने कहा है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और मैंने आज तक किसी को ये वाली बात बोलते हुए अगर सुना है तो उन्होंने बस डायरी बोला है. लेकिन जिस तरह से मैम ने एलैबोरेट किया, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट एंड आई वुड रियली सजेस्ट कि आप ये करिए. आपकी और सबसे अच्छी बात, मैम का नाम अस्मिता है, आइडेंटिटी है, इसी से आइडेंटिटी बनेगी. बिकॉज द नैरेटिव दैट यू विल रोल आउट इन योर हेड, that will give you an identity.
That will help you understand your strengths and weaknesses, and आपको अपने बारे में जब तक समझेंगे नहीं, इंटरेस्ट नहीं समझ आएगा, आप अपना करियर चूज नहीं कर सकते हैं. आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है, किसमें आप अच्छे हो सकते हैं, क्या आप अपनी लाइफ के बारे में चेंज करना चाहते हैं.
वी आर टेकिंग दिस प्रैक्टिस जो आपने कहा है, ये अब आपका IPR, आई होप सो आपने ना कराया हो, तो अब ये तो हमारे प्रोसेस का पार्ट होने वाला है. ये तो हमारे प्रोसेस का पार्ट होने वाला है.
Right. So I think these are some things we learned in our life, and why not everyone who has a chance to do it can do it. I hope it's not an IPR, and I don't think so.
आइडिया पे IPR नहीं होता, प्रोसेस पे होता. अभी मैं प्रोसेस बना दूंगा, इसका फिल लूंगा.
ठीक है. So yes, this will help you in two things: understanding your strengths and weaknesses and choosing a career. Also, it will help you in answering questions when you're asked in interviews in GD, especially why this institute, why this job, why this course particularly. So the answer that is expected is personalized. Random Google answer करके तो हर कोई दे देता है. When you personalize that, give an example from your past, from that note or story of your life you've written, it helps them understand how important it is for you. That is what differentiates you from other. That gives you more chance to succeed at that. So I think that is like a going away tip I can give. Probably maybe we speak about it more if given a chance in the interview section or whenever.
Definitely,
but yes,
definitely we'll work on that. So Kriti, if you can stop the live